Gotta keep on stepping now, y'all. Keep on stepping. Check it out. Hey, baby, what you doing tonight? I'm really in the mood to make it right. Been working so hard to pay the bills. Haven't had time just
Do what we need to do to get him out of there as the president, because he is a shame and disgrace. I'm out of here.
Now, anybody else, y'all appeal me for saying scary. This ain't the first time this man done said I ain't fit or disgraced. Pastor Gilbert, just make a note of that. This meeting is now adjourned for lack of a quorum. Again. This meeting is now adjourned again for lack of a quorum. Over and over and over and over with this council. Ain't been here but 5 months. Don't attend, a lack of a quorum.
I've been listening to my colleagues. I listened to my colleague, Eva Worthy in the Ninth Ward, and I hear you state the fact that you want us to have.
Mr. President, through you, we cannot hear Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy,
right.
it is difficult.
I'm sorry.
If you really speak into that
All
mic and stay close, it'll be helpful to your cause.
I hear my colleague, Councilman Worthy, talk about having the series of the 4 meetings, but what concerns me with her statement with us having the 4 meetings is we done had 3 so far, and out of the 3, she has not attended one of them. And
Point of information. You saying that the person talking about the 4 meetings ain't attended one of the 3 already? Is this what you just said? Okay, I withdraw my
Point of order.
What's your point of order?
Is this just a jab at a fellow council person, or are we going to act professionally?
Are you talking to me or him?
Both of you.
Well, he got the voice up to him whether he answered.
yeah, no, it's not taking a jab, and I apologize if you think it's taking a jab, but I'm just listening to, I do a lot of listening. I really try not to be on nobody's side, but it just concerned me that, all of my colleagues out of all the meetings we have showed up somehow, and some of meetings we weren't able to attend some of them for the most part. And that just concerns me, that it's so concerning that you emphasize.
Point of information.
What's your point of information?
Is the speaker aware that, 1, I never agreed to these meetings without the compliance firm? 2, I do have children and I have other needs and I cannot make it to every single meeting. I do my best. But please don't use that as a point of contention.
It's a point of information. It's a quick inquiry. Is there a 3? Mr. Murphy, you still have the floor.
So this is not a jab at her, but this is just being honest and transparent, because that's what we said we're here to do. And when we was at those meetings, even when we might wanted to leave, we listened to those people, and some people verbalized what they wanted to see happen with those ARPA dollars versus putting them down on writing. So there are some things were said that I just think it's important as council that when we talk about what we want to see, we participate in the process. And that concerns me that my colleague wasn't at any of the council, and we got one more. Hopefully she'll show up there. The other piece is
Yes, good afternoon, council. Thank you, Janelle. My name is Robert Jones. I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Reverend Dr. Bishop Eric Mays, to Mr. Maurice Davis, Miss Jeffrey Winfrey Carter, and Mrs. Monica Galloway. Thank you guys. While you guys stood up for us residents, we stayed up with you till 3 o'clock in the morning. And for the record, there was over 96 people that stayed up and stayed with you at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why Miss Kate Fields, a K times 3, you do the math, Miss Eva Worthy, who I think, in my humble opinion, is worthless, while Mr. Sleepy, in my opinion, Griggs, was nowhere to be found. That is considered a form of data visualization. I'm wrapping up. So I believe from listening to the council, they were just like a city council dashboard that has about 4 to 5 data indicators where project request is made, who's handling it, what department.
Please wrap up, sir.
Project. I am, ma'am. Thank you. You let people wrap up for 30 more seconds, so give me 30 more seconds.
Sir, your time is up. Your time is up.
Phil, shut the hell up. You're pissing me off, you racist.
Mute. Janelle, mute that speaker.
I did.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
If you want to proceed on the appeal and you want to rule that way, I'm not going to appeal you. But you need to lay off of me because my brain is good and I remember what went on. You doubt my brain being good? I see you looking at me a strange way.
Mr. Mays, you were...
But we have got to support the senior citizens. I don't see that coming out of the mayor, out of
Thank you, ma'am.
and
Please wrap up.
And out of. But if you keep interrupting me, that's exactly what I mean. I offered the expression that I was wrapping up, but you're such a rude person. Please don't be that way to every black person that calls you. Just stop. Take check of yourself. Thank you for the kind people that are here and listening and that care and that call in. Thank you.
Information, if you want to, you can speak on it or you don't have to address it. Ms. Worthing, you wasn't here for the discussion about that, or were you? Anybody? Beg your pardon?
I believe you kicked me out at that time.
No, not me. The council voted. Why keep giving me that credit for removing you? The council voted. I just didn't let you back in. We got to say that right. And then when they meet, they don't have the sense, in my opinion, to suspend the rules and get caught up on this mess. And I see a discriminatory different treatment. I've experienced some horrendous stuff today. Horrendous. Been accused of threatening, been accused of don't say my name, but folks can say my name. They can say the first word, council person. I'm going to wrap it up.
The next caller has been unmuted if they'd like to speak to council.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Dwayne Richardson. Wow. Oh, my goodness. We got to get it together. And I keep on preaching the same thing. Kate Fields needs to be voted out from president. This is a nasty woman. Just told her. I'm tired of saying how nasty this lady is. And when you have a puppet like Eva Worthing who's going to second everything and agree to everything, I want to know what this woman got up. How is she a teacher? How is this lady an educator in Flint? Anything the voting record shows. Has she ever voted for anything that Kate hasn't voted for? Straight puppet with a corrupted mayor and a corrupted administration.
But also for my attendance, I know Mr. Mays likes to talk a lot about that, and those who listen don't really know the truth. Attendance, I'm at every meeting. You know, there's others that have left and went on vacation, who have left meetings early. Nothing is ever said. But when someone says your name over and over and over, it gets stuck in your head, and that is the intent behind it. Because how many times does Mays say my name? Quite a lot. And he says Miss Fields' name quite a lot. And it's to get it stuck in people's head. That's how this kind of political tactic works. To clear the record, I'm at almost every meeting, and I leave when it becomes just a Mays show.
Hi, this is Barbara Moore, and this is really a very interesting meeting. I think it's the most interesting meeting from public speaking aspect that I've been involved in. And as far as this dysfunctional situation is concerned, anybody with common sense knows that there has been a great deal of dysfunction on this Flint City Council. However, everyone has some form of dysfunction because none of us are perfect. But when you try to single people out, I'm black, but that don't mean I'm going to side with somebody that's black just because of the color of their skin. Now, you talk about racism. You got racism coming from the blacks. You have racism coming from whites. You know, and when you talk about this lowest common denominator, once upon a time, I did say Eric Mays was the lowest common denominator. But now, I would say Maurice Davis is the lowest common denominator because he is just a puppet on a string like a little lapdog sitting on Eric Mays' lap doing any and everything he says. And also with Monica Galloway, and like I said before, he has the titles, but he's not chairing the meetings. They are chairing the meetings because in essence, he don't even know how to chair the meetings. If somebody got to tell you to call somebody else out of order or give them their first warning, there's something wrong, very wrong with that. You know, and as far as attendance is concerned, Eric Mays, the meetings would have went a lot smoother if you wasn't there. I mean, you caused the problems, and I don't care who say what about where I live. I was born and raised in Flint. I have relatives that live in Flint. Only thing I can't do in Flint is vote in Flint, but I can speak. And what's going on is pathetic. You're neglecting your duty. You're oath for office. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. And just like Quincy Murphy just said, you're cherry picking.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Mays.
I speak loud, clear, and proud. I don't even know some of what you just said. I really don't.
Would you?
But
you
don't have to interrupt me. You're out of order. If I want to interrupt you, I'll do a point of information, a point of order. And my point of information in that case would be, could you repeat yourself? But I didn't do that. See, I take the rules seriously, and I want them applied equally. And here we are in the infant stages of this council, and thank you, Ms. Winfrey Carter, because it's important for me, that if a colleague who sits next to me, Mr. Davis sat next to me at one point, it's important for me to make it publicly if somebody say, quit threatening me as we discuss this motion. That happened on this motion. Mr. Murphy got my attention. I leaned behind him, and he was explaining to me that he wanted to postpone this to committee. I said, I ain't got no problem with that. And as I was saying, it could have been done during council meeting. We should be out of this meeting. But you keep saying we're in committee. You enjoying chairing this committee, in my opinion. Ms. Liddell Lewis, as in the middle of me talking to Mr. Murphy, said, quit saying my name. She was, I guess, getting frustrated because I'm saying her name. And then quit threatening me. You know how long I've been black and male? A long time.
Point of information.
What is your point?
So I apologize for disrupting the meeting. And so what it was that, as everyone can hear, and this even carried over from last meeting, Mr. Mays, he continuously made comments, and he makes, I guess, threats to individuals that don't go his way. You gonna politic against me, I politic against you. Oh, you don't want me to come for you. Oh,
Point of order.
Mr. Pfeiffer.
I don't believe that this is a valid point of order.
I didn't say point of order, sir. It's a point of information.
Is you going to come to a question?
Yeah. So my question is, I don't understand why, and this goes to, I guess, through you. I don't even want to waste time with this. The point is that, Mr. Mays, we need to stop taking things personal. We need to move on with the city business. He was in the middle of making a statement, and then he just said, Miss Lewis. And I'm just sitting here, didn't say anything. I'm just looking over my paperwork. And the only thing came out of his mouth was Miss Lewis. And I looked around, and everybody looking at me like, where did Miss Lewis come from? And he went on to something totally separate. It appears that he has Miss Lewis on the brain. So I would like if Mr. Mays, if he just stayed germane to the topic, if he talk about the issues at hand, if he see that we are messing up with the goofy rules, please be a team member and help get us in order without being condescending so we can move on. We are still here because you continue to talk.
Dr. Lewis, that is an incorrect use of a point of information. As such, it has been denied.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mays,
I was waiting to see how long it would take you, because when I was doing it with Eva, you was quick at the gun. Madam Chair, that there shows a different treatment, but that's okay, because y'all learning. But what Ms. Lewis needs to learn, and why I appealed you, because it was relevant to this motion. It happened on this motion, and I appreciate the second, Ms. Winfrey Carter. It happened on this motion. I'm not going to just call a point of order and lie on somebody. If somebody is telling me privately, don't say my name, and accuses me of threatening them, and particularly in America, if you're female, I take it seriously. I ain't threatening no male, no female, no black, no way. It ain't my nature. And when people tell you that privately, it scares me, because I done been in court too many times. And then you can get a glimpse of it now, accusing me of threatening her because I'm talking about how Miss Worthing vote, how you vote, how she vote. I can talk about the voting record and what I hear about Pfeiffer, Mr. Pfeiffer, myself, Greg. That ain't no reason to threaten me privately. And I know 100% what it was. So I appeal your decision. You, Ms. Worthing, Ms. Liddell, anybody. And thank you, Ms. Winfrey, because I'll be voting no on your decision that I was out of order bringing this up at the exact time it happened. It happened on the discussion of this motion. I leaned back to Mr. Murphy as we was communicating about postponing this to a committee. As a result of that, then I was getting told off, in my opinion, by Ms. Liddell Lewis about not saying her name out of my mouth and then threatening her. I ain't threatening her or nobody else. I am in politics. I'm gonna talk politics with politicians, and I'm appalled that it has went this far. But the point needs to be made, because it needs to stop. I'll be voting no on your ruling of me out of order.
Mr. Mays,
Thank
regarding
you. Point of
resolution
order.
210491, yes, sir.
According to the rules, if y'all vote to find me out of order for raising that issue, give me my first warning. And then once you give me my first warning for being out of order, when y'all vote that way again wrong, I'll remove, or you can remove me from the meeting. So would you like to really know the rules? Give me my first warning for being out of order.
That is an agreement. That was your first warning, Mr. Mays.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to finish your time on the floor regarding your first round of discussion?
Who you talking to, me?
Yep,
It ain't gonna change. I'm not gonna get my second warning keeping council people in order based upon the rules the city attorney made. I'm used to council people voting wrong. No.
Okay.
I just want to be excused for a minute.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Beginning the second round of discussion on resolution 210491, would anyone like the floor?